that quick with the snap of your fingers, you're down 1-0 in the series. That's the hard part of the playoff hockey. You know, one shot can completely change a game, can change a series. Game 2 was do or die. You know, you lose, you go home. So I think the guys had a lot of urgency going into that game. You know, even as far as the preparation that day goes, they were excited. They wanted to get back after it. They wanted to extend the life of their season to Sunday afternoon. And you know, for us, we're in the same mindset as the players. You know, we want to make sure that things are done right. You know, every little detail is done correctly throughout that game to make sure that we're giving our team every single small chance to win that game.
So the goalie mindset going into playoffs is kind of want it to be the same mindset as every other game. You want to be quiet, want to be calm, easy. You don't want to be thinking about all the pressure, everything like that. But none of that exists in playoffs in your head. You're just thinking about the next shot, the next play, just the next thing to happen to help your team win and move on.
You know, you look at the night before, it was a one-shot game. We expected nothing less, probably the same. But, you know, our guys came out hot. You know, they stepped on the gas right away, and they took a lot of life away from Northern Colorado early in that second period. You know, you had a couple key players that stepped up for us, Cade Herrera, Jake Murray, you know, guys that we rely on all year long. They stepped up in those big moments and were able to kind of create some separation for us in that game. And seeing those guys step up in a do-or-die situation is exactly what we expected, and they did just that.
We really tried to stay out of the box as best as we can and not give their power play anything easy.
They basically played without fear, and they really took it to the Eagles, and being able to go up 4-0, weather the storm of the third period. We had outstanding goaltending and penalty kill units. Power play stepped up. Cade, Jake, Devin combined for, I think, 12 points that night, but everybody was lights out. It was a full 60-minute effort from the entire team, top to bottom, and when we got going, there was no way the Eagles could catch up.
Both teams at this point now are do or die, and you know, we're able to establish a lead in the first period. You know, and usually when we get a lead, we're a pretty good hockey team statistically.
The goaltending was excellent. It was excellent all weekend between the 4 netminders who were in net for both teams. They were some of the true MVPs, at least in my opinion. Seeing the way again the team started off, Hawks hit Iggy with a great pass up ice. He walked in, scored a goal, sent the team into a frenzy up 1-0 midway through the first period. You knew that something felt different about this game.
So we all just went in, you know, it was a do or die situation. So we all wanted to have fun. We didn't know if it was going to be our last game together as a team.
Everybody felt very good at where they were mentally, physically, emotionally. And I think the one thing that maybe we didn't consider was that maybe the Eagles thought the same exact thing.
Going into the second period, we saw some pushback as we expected from Northern Colorado, and into the third period where that game's tied, you know, they found a way to get a lead with just a handful of minutes left in the game. And instead of our guys folding up and packing in the season, they continued to, you know, put their nose to the grindstone and keep preaching the positive stuff that we give them throughout the week. And you know, they were able to find the back of the net with just a couple minutes left and tie that game and give our team a lot of life going into overtime.
The shot from Jack Jones went off the shin pad of the skate of Bryce Miller, found the back of the net. And for the good looks that we did have, they were able to make the stops. And for some of those kind of greasy goals that some people would say, those are the ones that found the back of the net. And that's playoff hockey.
Watching the season come into a close, especially earlier than we have expected, it's heart-wrenching. You know, to see our guys on the ice after they, you know, unloaded everything that they had throughout the weekend in that series and giving it everything they had through 4 extra periods of hockey that obviously in a regular game are not being played. It's a lot. Unfortunately, one of those 2 teams after that type of weekend is walking away with their season over. And you know, seeing our 20-year-old players, you know, on their knees on the ice and not having anything left, knowing that their season was over, that's one of the toughest things to watch as a coach. Just knowing that they put everything on the ice and that, you know, you're 1 shot away from moving on to the following weekend. That's one of the biggest times throughout the season where those guys lean on you. being able to give them the advice that we did in the locker room and obviously pat them on the back for their efforts, competing in playoffs and being in those types of situations, not only on Sunday but in Friday as well. That's something that, those guys, that's a lifelong memory for them.
It's a tough pill to swallow, just with, that being the final game of our season, but I don't think we have any regrets. I think everybody left everything on the table and we played our hearts out. So I think we put on a really good show for the fans, and that was important. It was also just a good way to end our season in terms of it was a loss, but I think we battled our hearts out.
For me, it was my last junior game, so just fortunately letting in that last goal, regardless if it was anybody's fault, it's tough on everybody. It almost doesn't feel real. You see the other team celebrating, and it's just, everything's over. It's just awful. But in the locker room after the game, we were just looking around at each other. We couldn't be upset. It's a kind of a bittersweet ending. We all were so close with each other, and we all gave it our best effort. And it's just unfortunate that things, it ended that way. Yeah, it's tough.